What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Hustle Kitchen podcast. Today we have amazing guests from the Underground Experience, the only other English podcast I know in Bahrain, with Ali Kelz and Corvan and my co-host Omar Rana. Today, by the way, you don't want to miss out this episode. You can win 50 dinars at the end if you answer the right answer to a question we're going to ask shortly. And we're going to ask them where they were 10 years ago, what would they have changed? Now, you're getting an exclusive only on the show. So check it out. What's up, guys?
What's up? Very good
Yellow.
to be here.
Welcome to the podcast. I've been looking forward to this, by the way.
Yeah, same here, bro.
So just so I introduce everyone, Ali
That's me.
Corvan.
Corvan. I'm struggling with this name. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's Corvan.
Corvan. And Omar, of course.
Right.
All right. Before I actually dive into any topics, I just got to get this out of the way.
Yeah.
Why you Ali Kelz? What is Kelz?
Oh, bro. Putting me on the spot.
Immediately.
Absolutely.
All right. So, do you want the truth or can I lie?
I want the truth.
Well, I'm quite interested with what the lie was going to be. Like, what were you about to make up?
tell two versions of the story.
Oh, yes.
And make them pick.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I like
Make
that.
them like equal.
The truth and the lie.
And then you get-
and
I'll tell you what.
the game.
Yes.
I'm gonna say the truth and the lie, and then you decide which one is the truth.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
So, story number one is growing up. I used to be a gamer.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. And then playing Call of Duty, I became a pro.
Okay.
I won competitions. I got
Nice.
first place. And then that just stuck with me. I was the killer, so they called me Ali Kelz.
Oh, Kelz the killer.
Okay,
Right.
are we allowed
Wait.
to ask questions about your story?
After both stories.
We
Okay,
will
after-
first listen. First
Sure,
listen.
sure,
Okay.
yeah.
What's the second version of this?
So the second version of this was growing up. It's always growing up, right?
Yeah.
So growing up, I used to listen to R. Kelly a lot,
Okay.
right? And then
I hope it's not those type of kills.
oh well, no, not
Based
those.
on the news today, you know what I mean?
Not those type
Yeah.
of kills,
Okay.
right? But then I used to memorize his lyrics and used to listen to his music a lot. And then boom, he calls himself Kelz, and I'm like, I'm gonna call myself Kelz also.
Ah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which one do you think is the
Let's
truth?
get one question each.
Right.
Okay.
So
Right.
that just
You gotta help each
forever.
other because this is a team effort.
All right.
Sure.
Makes sense.
Okay, so I feel like I'll ask one question about one story.
Sure.
Which story do you want to have the question about?
No, I was
Ask
just going to
away,
ask
bro.
which one's the truth.
What?
Which one do you think is the truth from
we
those
get
two
one
stories?
question each. We can ask him one question.
No, I know.
I'm not gonna
I'm
share that
asking
yet.
you, not
I'm
him.
not going to share that yet. I don't introduce bias into
Okay.
this. All right, so I'm going to ask a question about COD.
Sure.
And you ask a question about R. Kelly.
Sure.
Right.
Are you ready with your question, Hussein?
I am.
I'm ready with my question. You want to go first?
Yeah.
All right. What's your
How old were you when you got that R. Kelly question? Like that R. Kelly explanation?
Oh, easy, man. How old was I? I was
what-
growing
what-
up, bro.
Like, what was the hit song in those days?
Oh.
When you came up with this?
Easy, bro. Easy.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. I memorized every single song.
It wasn't I Believe I Can Fly, right?
That's one of them.
Okay.
Right.
So you were like,
I believe
Teenager.
I can fly, bro. Yeah.
all right, you can ask your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Teenager.
So you were a pro on COD.
I was.
Okay.
Yes, I was.
Um,
I used to kill a lot of people. I mean,
Really?
I don't know if I can say that word.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
What was the most?
It's a game.
What medal did you get that you were really proud of on COD?
Dude, the gold one, bro.
The gold one.
The gold
one
one.
gold one. I don't
The
think you
one
played
gold
COD.
one. Right, yeah.
But I think R. Kelly's a lie. But that also that COD answer. I don't know. I play COD on my phone. I don't know. There's no.
No,
there's
the
gold
phone is
medal.
different, bro. The phone don't have one gold. Now it has many stuff.
Can I just say something? I believe the true answer is the R. Kelly
I
answer.
disagree. I think it's the other one.
Right?
Oh, that's not helping you, is it? What is the real answer?
What if we left this podcast without you ever knowing the truth?
Then why the hell did we waste our audience's time for 3 minutes? You know what I mean?
No, I'm just saying that'd be funny.
Keep it with you. Let's
Let's come back to that.
Let's come back to
at
it
the end. At the end.
and we'll both at the end reveal what
Yeah.
we think, having spoken to you a bit more, where we think the answer is.
Okay, guys, just so you know, at the end of this podcast, Ali will reveal the real answer.
The big reveal. There we are.
All right,
Stay to the end.
Okay.
now we got to move on to Corvan.
Corvan.
Can I do the same thing, or do you want stories, or I just?
Where did it-
you know what? Well, let's do the same thing. That was actually quite interesting.
Is this your name or where did it come from?
So Corvan
two
is
versions
my
now.
nickname, and
Okay.
I'll just tell the whole story because like I'm a bad liar. You literally tell it from my eyes. I'll probably look that way if I'm lying the entire time.
Such a boring guy, man. What the?
It's the truth.
Come on, dude.
So, it's very philosophical. Growing up, I felt like majority of my personality was built on influence by other people, by parents, by social groups, how I act, what I dress, what I look like, and I was like, who am I besides all this stuff? Like I was listening to music I don't even like, but because everyone around me is listening to it, I'm like, okay.
Like peer pressure?
Yeah, it felt like everything around me was just peer pressure.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I need to develop like a sense of identity or else I'll get lost. And this was around when I was 15, 16. So I was like, okay, what do I really like outside of my influences? I took a notebook and I wrote down a bunch of things that I felt was like truly me. And I love you guys know wolves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love dogs, but I was like, okay, that might be an influence too. I was very like paranoid about myself.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let's dive deeper. So I really like wolves, and I'm like, that's me. I went on a website, and I was like, I Googled, I was like, words that mean wolf. Okay.
Okay.
So I found a bunch of Greek words, Latin words, because majority of the wolf names came from Greeks and Latin. And I was like, okay, I like these names. Very, very unique. Stuff like when you hear the word Zeus or like, Hades, it just feels
Like
like
Greek gods and stuff.
it feels so good. So I was like, okay, something wolf related. I went to throw a bunch of names like Gaelic, very.
That's a nice name, bro.
That's a language.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a
it's
nice name,
also
bro.
a word.
Gaelic.
Gaelic.
Yeah, but their spelling too is very unique. Like
Yeah.
you don't really hear those words
Like
common.
you don't want to be called Gaelic. Like
Well,
let's
yeah.
For
just-
sure, bro.
I mean,
For sure.
it's a very regional thing. Depending
Yeah.
where you
First
are.
name gay.
No, it,
Last
does,
name
it doesn't matter where you're from. You don't want to be your name. Like you don't want that to be Gaelic.
I don't
Yeah,
know, I think
Like straight lick is fine.
words mean different things.
Okay,
let me wrap this before we go down a
But you
rabbit
said-
hole.
Continue,
My bad, man.
continue. Let him
Okay.
continue.
Continue.
So I found two words. I forgot what those words are today, but it's
Yeah.
Cor and Van. Like I literally mixed two meaning wolf-like. Like these two words.
That is so interesting. You know why? Because we did a Google search on your name.
Yeah.
And apparently, Corvan
Yeah.
is a Latin name.
Really?
Wait, you spell it slightly. I mean, you spell it with one letter
That's
difference.
what he
but
said.
Essentially, it's the same thing.
Corvus. Was it Corvus?
No, it was Corvan, but like it was one of the letters. I can't remember. It means raven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scientific name of raven is Corvus. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And Canis lupus is the scientific name of wolf.
yeah.
Like so, yeah. I took a bunch of influence.
That's crazy. You know, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Are you willing to tell your real name on the show? And if you are, just keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
At the end of the show,
Okay.
just like he's going to give a reveal,
Yeah.
you can give a reveal. And by the way, guys, first person to comment on his real name, as long as they don't know you,
Yeah.
gets 50 dinars.
We can do that.
So I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna be the first to comment. When I'm gonna speak to
right.
the producer. When's he publishing it? I'm getting in
As soon as
my
the episode
pseudonym
is up.
comment. Yeah.
Bro, I'll text you his name now.
But you know what we'll do to make it fair?
Yeah.
We'll post it on Instagram first before we release the video
Oh, smart, bro.
as an answer.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Very interesting. Okay, so today I wanted to talk to you guys about I keep saying I want to talk to you guys. I retract that. I think it would be interesting if we discuss if you met yourself, if you could meet yourself 10 years ago, what would you say?
To yourself.
To yourself? What advice?
Bro.
What would you say? What's up?
Ali
Right,
first.
right.
Yeah.
Bro,
Well, I
as
mean,
soon as
Wait, how old are you now, Ali?
now,
Yeah.
I'm 28.
So he's talking about 18 years old.
100%, bro.
What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Don't go to that interview.
Give some context.
Okay, well, I think it's so beautiful without context. I wonder where everyone's mind went. Like, what interview is he talking about?
I was actually thinking that. What interview? Come on, you got to
Wait,
tell us.
Is this the first time you've thought about this question before?
I have.
This is a question for you.
I've done a lot of self-reflection.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I've sat down with myself. I told myself, listen, I was gonna curse, but I'm going to refrain.
Feel free to curse if you want.
I don't feel comfortable if it's not my podcast.
So go on. What was this interview?
So the interview was in the hospitality industry, right?
Okay.
I left the hospitality industry now. That's history. But
Recently.
very recently,
Like
bro.
how long ago?
Last
Like
month.
Last month. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going back. Let's go back.
Oh, yeah, way back, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Exactly. The interview.
Yeah, the interview. So I had no knowledge, or I didn't have any information about hospitality and how to run a hotel and what goes on in a hotel. During the interview, I was asked, do you know the difference between room service and housekeeping? I'm like, yeah, room service, they service your room. Housekeeping, they keep your house. Right? I was literal. He's like, what's the bellman? I'm like, oh, easy. When you hit the bell, the man comes up. He's obviously the bellman, right? So I had all of these information wrong. But the guy was like, I like your confidence, but you're dumb as...
Yeah.
Right? But let me refer you to a friend. And he referred me to a friend, and then I got hired.
Nice.
Yeah, all right. I think 3 to 6 months in, I can't remember the details. That was my first job, and I got promoted. I'm like, whoa, this is too easy. So, yeah, I got more engaged and more, let's say I got deeper into the hospitality industry, which made me stay for 10 years. But then if I could go back and say, hey, listen, don't go to that interview, I would do that. But also I would say, but there's a risk. You might not be the same person you are now. Because, yeah, I feel like a huge portion of my life was dedicated to hospitality. And that industry and that field is so consuming in terms of, time and effort, whether it was physical or mental. That taught me a lot of things. That industry taught me a lot of things, even things that I apply on my own business. But then, there's always that.
So you know what's really interesting about it? Have you heard of Vittel Hospitality
I have,
School?
yeah.
Yeah, so I
It's
think
supposed to be a good school, right?
it is. I've met with them a bunch of times, and they're trying to give people that education in
Right.
hospitality. But one of the challenges we discussed, and obviously there's a great many challenges they had, was it wasn't, and it still isn't always looked upon as a career here.
Right.
But because they give
Very
a
true.
really good quality of education, and even you
do.
can get a full scholarship there.
They do, yeah.
But it's just getting people to understand this is a career, and you can learn so many amazing skills. And that was it. And like you're saying, like it really gives you so much insights into everything, how people are, how business is, how to be persuasive.
Right.
It's a nice education into that.
It is. And I don't think when we talk about customer service, I don't think there's any other industry that can make you customer oriented more than hospitality.
Yeah.
Like whether it was call center, sales in a shop or something, no one or no industry can give you the amount of knowledge, information, and practicality when it comes to customer service.
Yes.
Right? And I like something you said about Vattel, and that's very true. The hospitality industry is looked down upon, and I said that in one of my podcasts before. People don't take it as serious, or not even, they look down upon it because of many factors, and I think because of the, culture, especially people who are very, let's say, close with their religion, very religious people. I'm judging here, You can judge me, whatever.
No, that's okay.
But mostly majority
No.
they
Can
I
I call a spade and call out the elephant in the room here in
Please
this
do.
conversation? When you're going back 10 years and you're regretting the progress, maybe,
Right.
as in you should have done something else, maybe,
Yeah.
depending on where you were.
100%.
Is it because, not just in Bahrain, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say it's a Bahrain thing, I would say it's a Middle Eastern thing,
Right.
that the hospitality industry is not respected in the same way,
Yeah.
maybe pay-wise or maybe just respect-wise as a job,
Right.
compared to, like, for example, in Europe or America or somewhere else?
Oh, that's 100%, bro. I mean, look, Hassan, the hospitality industry in every single hotel here, it's underpaid, undervalued, right? However, there are a few hotels here, luxury 5-star hotels, that pay very well,
Yeah,
including my previous job.
yeah.
If
Can we say what your previous job was?
yeah, I was working at the Four Seasons.
Yeah.
So the Four Seasons, they are known to pay very well, and they pay every single one of us fairly. It's just there's a limit. There's a limit to not. How do I say this?
There's a
bro?
ceiling.
Ceiling.
There's a ceiling.
There's a ceiling.
You can't pass above it.
Right. Yeah.
Glass ceiling. It's
What's
called a
that?
glass ceiling.
Yeah.
There's a
yeah.
glass ceiling.
Yeah, there's a glass ceiling. And it's just, for me, I'm speaking subjectively here, I just don't see myself growing in that industry anymore.
Makes sense.
That, plus, finding my passion in content creation. Plus, there's a lot of personal reasons, because if anyone from work watches this, I told them one of many reasons why I'm leaving, and most of the personal ones that I can't share here because they're very deep and
Yeah. Can I say something?
Sure.
I love watching your podcast, both of you guys.
Thank
the
you.
Underground Experience Bahrain. And whoever's not following it, you should absolutely follow it. You guys have no filter.
No, we
Like
don't.
you speak your mind.
Yeah, we do.
And I'm sure I've listened to a conversation
Yeah.
in relation to this
Right. Yeah.
on one of your podcasts.
Yeah, yeah.
And even though you're working in the hospitality industry, you're still trying to big up and protect people that work even within your own company.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And I really respect that, guys.
Thank you.
I heard a very interesting story when I first moved out to the Gulf from a Arab guy who.
Where are you from before that?
I grew up in London.
You grew up in London.
Yeah.
And
So
what
where
did
are you actually from, Omar?
Well, I mean, I'm born and raised London. My family are from originally Pakistan, but no one lives there, and no one lives in London. Well, I have a brother in London. My family live in the Caribbean.
He's been in London before. What? He lived there for
No, I
50 years, bro.
No, I haven't.
So as I was saying, this Arab guy told me this really wonderful story, and sometimes I think, man, someone's really leveraging their natural abilities there. So he started working in hospitality, but then he took a job in some tropical island somewhere where really rich people from this region would go on holiday.
Yeah.
And then he ended up being a very well-paid interpreter
100%.
in a beautiful property, and all you have to do is just be nice to these people.
You know what?
And it's in hospitality.
I've met
killing it.
I've met amazingly well-paid interpreters, not in this
No, he wasn't
region,
an
but
interpreter.
around the world.
That's the thing, he wasn't
Just
an
a
interpreter.
translator.
He just worked. No, he wasn't that. He worked in hospitality in a hotel, but because he was Arab
Right.
and he spoke Arabic, they were by
The
the way,
translation factor.
no, just do customer service with it. You're a nice guy. Be the customer service. Just be the face. Make sure they're having a good time. So he didn't really have to do anything other than hang out and make sure people were
I
happy.
want to be paid for being nice.
Yeah, and it's just because he spoke Arabic. That was it. And he got paid incredibly well. Had crazy stories to tell
We
me.
should
Bro,
start paying
crazy
people for their
stories, bro.
traits, bro.
All right.
Respectful here.
I just want to flip the conversation now. So, Corvan,
Yeah.
10 years ago. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 24.
So you were
So you'd
14.
be 14. Oh my god! You made
Why
me
is
feel so
everyone here
old.
That's a tough question. You know what? If it's okay, can we make him answer when he was 18?
Yeah, I think that's better.
Because
No,
14 doesn't make sense.
Or
no,
it was
no, no,
actually
no,
a
no,
really
listen.
good time. 18, there was nothing. I'm not even joking.
What does that mean?
Bro, so
He lost his virginity when he was 14.
not facts. no, but so if it's
And
any
that changes
consolation,
mind.
I feel internally that I'm 40. I enjoy morning tea. I don't want to move. I feel really old. So like,
Oh, you know, it's so sad he's saying 40 is really old.
are you 40?
It's so sad that he's saying 40 is really old.
Dude, 40 years old. I'm sorry, bro.
So you sit here with my tea.
Watch
sorry,
your mouth, bro. Watch your mouth.
Well, listen.
No, it's fine. I'm happy about
Numbers are irrelevant.
It's all about maturity.
Yeah.
So when I was 14,
100%.
okay, this was, I feel like majority of my development happened when I was in the teens.
Yeah.
But 18 was nothing. Like 18 was like, okay, I'm set. I know who I am, what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. 14, I was a very quiet kid. Like I'm telling you, unbelievably quiet. Like you could ask him because we had the same group of friends. And even to him, if anyone doesn't know, we're cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Even to him, I wouldn't like be talkative. Like I wouldn't engage in conversations. And it was a
So
very...
you were a shy guy.
I was very shy, very quiet. Well, wait, not even shy. It's just I was so confused because, you know, when two people are talking, I'm like, what do I say? What do I have to contribute? Like, do they even want to listen? Will I make sense? So much insecurity and judgment with my thoughts that nothing would come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Which is so weird because now I'm here. But
That's really interesting. I'm
Yeah.
relating to this.
really?
Totally.
Well, I want to hear the end of the story. I know
But
your
tell
story.
me,
All right.
tell me.
Now I'm thinking about like, where can we find like a middle ground? But anyways, 14, it wasn't a very nice time in my life. You know, when you're 14, all you really have at that point is like school and then your extra activities. But the family dynamic plays a role. You know, you're thinking about your future. Like, oh, I have like this much years of high school. Like,
You didn't have long hair in those days, right?
never.
Okay.
This is a fairly new thing. Just
I
1 year.
was assuming that.
Yeah.
All right, continue.
So 14, very lost, very confused. Didn't know. I had people around me, but I never considered them as friends because I don't know what that meant. Like, what is a friend really? If you think about it, like, what is a friend? Like, for me, if you're going to label someone, there are like levels to it: acquaintance, colleague. Like everyone at school, you think is your friend, but no one has a standard for what the word friendship really means, right? So I was confused. I was like, I don't see you guys as my friends. I feel like I'm imposing myself in your lives by just engaging with you.
Interesting.
Maybe I'm a waste of time. Maybe you're a waste of my time. I don't know. So 14 to 16, all I did really was observe.
Can I just ask you, what school did you go to at that time?
There's a school here called Philippine School, Bahrain.
Which one?
Philippine School, Bahrain.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm half Filipino.
Yeah.
And half Pakistani.
So were they all Filipinos in that school?
The majority of them were Filipinos.
Okay.
They're mixed.
Okay.
You know? So, yeah, I didn't really click or I couldn't really make friends. So, 14 to 16, 17, all I did was observe. Like, I don't remember if you ask me, like, for any pivotal moment in my life, whether it was with a conversation or engaging with someone when I was 14 to 16, I would be blank. Like, I don't remember talking at all.
Wow.
So, just observing people, which is why I'm very into like psychology and like, you know, just I'm interested in people because I want to understand why does someone do this? Why do they move their hands? Why do they say these words? What do they mean? Is there another layer behind it? Where's it coming from? So yeah, at 17, I think I finally like came to some sort of conclusion like, oh, I think I understand people and myself now. I think I can engage with people now without the fear of judgment, without the fear of anything. Like, I'm just going to test the waters.
Sure.
So every conversation was like a science experiment to me. I was like, I'll talk to this person just because I want to know, like, what will happen? What are the magic that we can create in
I
the
love
air?
that. I've been doing that for years.
Right?
It makes every conversation
Wait,
so
wait.
interesting.
But you know what? Let him continue because I have a hardcore question after this.
Okay.
Go on.
So like 17, 18, I was just trying like learning how to talk because all the talking was in my head. Now I wanted to experience that. So yeah, if I could go back and I would tell my 14-year-old self to hurry the fuck up because 2 years of thinking is like too much.
Yeah.
Because that's 14 to 16, I feel like it's very important for development.
Absolutely.
Especially in personality, but I spent it so much in my head. So I feel like I lagged a bit in the experimental in the experience of engaging with people because I could have talked to so much more. So yeah, it's just I want to tell myself like get out of your head or learn to balance your thoughts with like reality, because not everything you think is
Yeah.
real, because your perspective is just one out of like the 7 billion that there are here. There's so much to learn, and you won't really learn unless you engage with a person.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I just want to tell him, hurry up. Like you don't need to go back and forth.
Do you
Don't
think he'd listen?
spiral. Huh?
Do you think he'd listen?
Yeah, because all he did was listen.
Can I? Okay, this was my question here.
Hit me.
What happened that triggered the change?
Okay.
And
There's a variety of things.
because I told you, I totally relate to you,
Yeah.
and I went through the same.
Okay.
But obviously, something happened to break the camel's back, as they say.
Yeah.
Good question, by the way.
Thanks.
You guys put me on the spot. I want to drink, but I also want to answer. All right.
Corvan, are you sweating right now?
Yeah, but not on my face.
Oh my.
No. Okay. So I was in a relationship for 7 years, from 13 to 21.
Okay.
Right. At 18, there was we had a big fight, and this wasn't normal because in those ages, 17, 18, it was like on and off. That I've never experienced something like that before. And this was, take note, my first ever like relationship. I was like, I'm gonna marry this woman. 7 years together. You know?
Oh my God, I so relate to this.
Right? so yeah, she did something really fucked up. I won't get into detail about like what exactly she did, but it shattered my identity again, because imagine you're building up slowly your confidence, your personality, your identity, yourself as a being, and someone comes in and it's like, nope,
Yep.
everything you know is wrong, and then you start doubting again, and then you build it up, and
So you're like, forget it.
yeah, and the reason, because at that point in time, I hated this person. I'm like, how can you go from an emotion of like, you know, selfless love to extreme hate? And I was like, oh, that's something new again. So I was trying to understand this emotion of like, how can I hate someone I literally love? And at the same time, it's like, it's just as each second passes, you're conflicted. So I found out later on, she was actually diagnosed with a mental illness, and that caused her to act that way. She had bipolar,
Yeah.
yeah, and at the same time BPD, which is body dysmorphia.
It's not a fun mix.
Yeah,
Is this why you're so into like mental health and stuff?
yeah, because this is so. I don't know if I am the way I am because of that influence, but also I felt like, because I'm thinking so much, there must be something wrong in my head. I don't think anyone thinks this much at that point in time. I was like, you know.
You're still a teenager.
Exactly. I'm like, no one thinks like me, because if they thought like me, everyone would not talk. Like, it has to make sense, right? Like, if everyone is acting a certain way and you see the patterns of their actions and thoughts, but you're like out there, you're an outcast, there must be something different. But at that point in time, I didn't know the difference between different and wrong. I thought I was wrong for thinking this way. That's why I spent so much time. But anyways, yeah, I found out she had that thing, and that made me learn forgiveness and acceptance. All the logical things that I've thought of and all the feelings, I learned to match them together with the experience after getting out there. I was like, okay, you know, I'm single now. At that point in time, and then we got back together because I'm dumb and I'm a man. Sometimes I think with my other head. Yeah. So yeah, I learned a bunch of things during that period in my life.
All right, guys. So now we're in the second half of the show.
Right,
We're
right,
gonna
right.
flip the table here.
Let's flip it, bro.
Because you got the underground experience, Bahrain. Probably the best podcast that I've
God.
listened to in Bahrain.
Ala rasi, bro. You heard that? Ala rasi, bro.
So now you guys are the hosts for the next segment.
Oh.
Before we get to the answers of the questions we asked in the beginning of the show.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the underground experience.
What's going on? So Hustle Kitchen Podcast is now the underground experience.
Takeover. We should have a
Takeover, the
Yeah,
takeover.
yeah.
Are we gonna send over our logo, intro, and everything?
Yeah, of course. It's the takeover.
You know, we should absolutely do that.
Yeah, like a takeover.
Yes.
Like we swap hosts for a day or for
Yeah.
like once a month or
This
something.
is now the
Love it.
takeover.
I
That's
love it.
crazy.
I
The
love it.
floor is yours.
Collab we didn't expect.
We would love to do the same, but I gotta say, our setup is not as advanced as this. Our setup is like 2 mics and a table. That's it.
Hey, it is what it is. But but your content is gold.
Thank you.
Now
Thank
the
you.
floor is yours.
All right. What's going on, Monsieur, Madame, tout le monde? I wanted to speak French for no reason. My bad French. But anyways, thank you guys for joining the podcast. We really want to get to know you now, and we want to explain who you are to the audience.
On an intimate level.
Amazing.
On a very close level, bro.
Amazing.
So why don't we all hold hands and lit a candle?
Bro, Corona. What are you doing? COVID, man.
In spirit.
All right.
Hussein Husseini,
Yo,
we did an episode before.
epic episode.
It was an epic episode.
I think I let go of everything with no filter on that episode.
Well, you did.
And you're going to do it again.
That's why I didn't share it with too many people.
Right,
You know,
right.
it was too epic.
Yeah. But I like how very raw, and it was easy for you to speak your mind.
Yeah.
It was easy for you to share everything you wanted to share with anyone.
You make me feel comfortable.
No, it's you, bro. It's you.
Can you feel the love? Can you feel the love?
I feel more than just love.
No, but I got to know Hussein on a personal level, honestly. Because even after the podcast, we sat down and we started talking as
Hey,
well.
dude, I always DM you. Yo, your link is not
Oh yeah.
connected.
Oh yeah. By the way, we have a lot of things that we need to fix. But Hussein keeps messaging us. Keeps messaging me. He's like, oh, by the way, your Instagram handle doesn't link to your page.
Hey, man, I love you, bro. That's why I want to make sure everything's
Thanks, dude.
okay on
Thanks,
the marketing
dude.
side.
Right. But everything is perfect from your side. When you post it, how you post it, when you share it. Do you have a set date for like upload?
Yeah, so basically, we've been doing podcasts like randomly for the last year or two, right?
Right.
And we never had a set date. So that was just because we're doing it as a hobby for fun.
Yeah.
This is why I brought Omar on the show, like, because, you know, Omar is a marketing expert as well. And he's amazing. Like, he's also been my best friend for like 12 years.
Oh, beautiful.
Which is an amazing co-host to have. And he was also my business partner, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had a couple of companies.
You don't see that often. Business partners continuing business.
No.
Aside from friendship, you know.
No, so I said, Omar, like, now we need to take this very seriously. Like, my 1 year goal is to be the #1 podcast in the GCC. That's my
Nice.
goal.
That's
I mean, you
that's a
always
good
have
goal
to
to
have a
have.
goal to
Right.
aspire to, right?
Yeah.
So we release an episode every Tuesday. And because of YouTube's algorithms, like, you know, you have to be consistent and all of that.
Yeah.
So it's every Tuesday we release an episode.
Nice. I think that's something we need to do, bro.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know about you, but like, I actually care about, like, I've been researching a lot. Obviously,
Yeah.
I care about the thumbnail,
Yeah.
the title, the description, the hashtags, and all of that.
Yeah.
The cards and all of that stuff.
Oh.
So I'm taking it very seriously. So this is, like, for me, not a hobby anymore. It's something we want to do seriously.
Yeah.
And we have a 12-month target.
I have 2 questions.
Sure.
One's shallow, one's not so shallow.
Sure.
Yeah. The first one is, well, you decide which one's shallow, but why? Why podcast exactly? What makes you want to talk to people?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an
That's,
interesting one.
that's actually a really great question. Look, I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy learning new things all the time. And I'm like, well, we do this in our lives anyway. Why not do it from a content creation point of view? That if it can add value to anyone's lives, then so be it. But at the same time, it can be a business if you do it properly.
Yeah.
I've got that plus a slightly different answer as well. Like, we were talking earlier about podcasts that we listen to. I'll share a couple with yourselves. And lots of the content that I like to consume isn't produced in the Gulf. And I wish there was more of the narrative out here. So, like, hearing people like you doing stuff, the more of us doing it, the more interesting people come up. You'll hear interesting stories, because having a Europe or American-centric narrative only is only their history, their stories, their information. And whilst
Preach.
that's amazing, there's also stories from here.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
more, and relatability matters for so many different reasons.
Right.
Like, I had an entire childhood without relatability, and I've never really experienced it. So it's more from an outside point of view. I get that, but in those few moments where it happens, it does feel wonderful. I really want to strive to have that for all of us here, to be able to have that type of content. As a foreigner here, I want that content for me also.
Yeah. And honestly, I think podcasts now, the podcasts that are getting produced here in Bahrain, we are basically putting the foundation for people who think that, oh, all right, that's something I probably can do.
Yeah.
Right? Because now, if you count the podcasts here in Bahrain, I think Local BH had a post a few months ago, the top 10 podcast, or was it, I don't know how many, but it was below 10 podcasts in Bahrain.
To be honest, I don't know any English podcast in Bahrain except yours. And you know, like when you're targeting, like obviously for us, like English is first.
100%.
We don't have enough local content to consume.
Right.
So we're just creating that. And that's why I love your podcast, because, you know, like, man, you're like in like 50, 60 plus episodes so far.
Right.
60, it's very 50. Impressive the amount you got out there. We were looking at this yesterday.
We got for our 50th episode, we got sponsored by a company based in Dubai.
Oh, no way.
Boom.
Yeah, bro.
Love that, bro.
Yeah. They sponsored the giveaway, and you know,
that's amazing.
Everything that comes along with a sponsorship. And when we had that, that was the turning point for us to take it up a level.
Yeah.
We said, now people like this company found value in
your content.
In our content.
It must be such a great feeling.
Dude,
it's crazy. It's like after years of grinding, interviewing literally everyone. And by the way, I have to say this to the audience: whoever's not following your podcast, they should, because you guys are so unfiltered. You talk about topics that are on our mind that no one wants to speak about.
Yeah.
And I respect that with you guys. Like, you just tell it as it is.
Thank you.
Follow-up question: do you guys have anything that you want to talk about, but you feel like it's not the right time, or you're thinking of like a structured way to talk about like certain topics? Because like there are some where, you know, it's a gray area, and you're like, I don't want to dive into these waters now.
That's such a good question.
I definitely do.
That's such a good question.
I mean, not to talk
politics,
about stuff.
religion, stuff like that.
Omar is actually my filter, right? Because if it was up to me, I just speak my mind completely, with no filters.
Yeah.
And he's always the one who's like, nah, you can't talk about this, can't talk about that.
Has it ever slipped out? And did you ever catch him? And you're like, I have to drive now. I have to take the steering wheel. And
no,
shift it.
I think there's things that we both like. There's things he doesn't want me talking about. There's things that I don't want him talking about, and not because they shouldn't be spoken about, but you know, I think you've got to serve the audience that's there. And if people are getting bored with what you're talking about, then
change it up.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think that's the benchmark of where I sit on things. Like, just because it's interesting to me does not make it interesting to everybody. And I tell him constantly, like, just because you think it's interesting does not make it interesting.
But he's talking about gray areas. He's not talking. He's not talking about topics.
No, but I think the same thing. You just don't agree,
dude. That's what makes it special. Because, for example, if you think that not everyone would find it interesting, isn't that a good thing? Meaning there are only some people would find value in what you have to offer on the table.
True, but I think that's where we both make that compromise, where there's I don't talk about certain things and he doesn't talk about certain things, because we've agreed, you know, it's
the podcast, your podcast is about something else.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, it's only like the 4th episode with us two.
Yeah.
So we don't want to go straight into like the gray area from the beginning.
Yeah. But it's not just gray area. For example, like
maybe we'll warm up to it, you know, like
in every podcast so far, like you've mentioned things that are like, it's a whole conversation. If I go into it, like psychology, things like this, I find it just enormously interesting. But this is probably not the forum for it. So it's the same advice I give him. Like, this is just probably not the forum for it.
Right.
I commend you guys on that dynamic, because like you said, I don't know if you mentioned it, but 12 years of friendship?
Yeah.
Right. So you guys know each other, basically.
Not just know each other. See, the thing is, what I love about Omar is that he can read my mind, I can read his mind. That is why when we work together, we never lost a pitch, ever.
Yeah, he did very well.
Like, we know when I should speak, or when he should speak,
That's good.
depending on the question and the situation.
There's a lot of fun.
I think you need that in your life. You need that. You need someone. You can say, "Oh shit, I'm falling." you know, someone's behind you to catch you.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
vice
yeah.
versa, like
Yeah.
constantly picking each other up and constantly pulling each other
Absolutely,
Yeah,
because
and
because
also
he knows
pushing
my
you.
because
Because it's very easy to fall into that comfort zone.
up. Yeah.
But if you've got someone who is helping you be the best version of you, and that's also, whilst that's in business, that's in all relationships. Like the lady I'm about to marry, she
Congrats.
makes, thank you.
congratulations, bro.
Congrats.
And it feels weird unless you've experienced it. But if you have a human who's trying to help you be the best you, and you can find the value in what that practically means, it sounds very airy, but I think when you feel it, you know that truth. It's a different way to live. You can find you're not waiting for happiness tomorrow. You're not delaying what those moments are. You're enjoying the moment. You're being alive now. Right. It's really, it's a beautiful truth.
And you know,
stuff like that, he doesn't like me talking about.
No, that's okay. You know what?
He
Can I
just pulled me,
can I
bro.
say something? Like the fundamental basis of every friendship or relationship, whether it's romantic or not, is knowing each other's strengths and weaknesses and filling the other half.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the. Well, where did we even start with this? I've got lost.
I have no idea.
But that was so beautiful that I don't know what to say.
This is when you know this is our podcast, because we all forget what we're talking about.
That's true.
That always happens. It's a signature move from our side.
No, but you know what? Like, I feel like most podcasts, especially in the region, is so question-answer based. Like,
interview.
It's an interview.
Yeah. Interviews.
And I was like, that's the number one thing I didn't want to do.
Right.
I was like, because I listen to a lot of podcasts,
Yeah.
like around the world, and they're always conversational.
Yeah.
You know, it's just speak your mind.
And
like,
it's more
don't make
enjoying,
it,
you know, it's-
don't make it like an interview. Like, why
Right,
be
yeah.
formal? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
You know, when I catch myself entering that interviewer mode,
Yeah.
it's not like my intention wasn't to make it like
Yeah.
an interview, but I'm just generally curious, and I feel like
Yes.
I want to get rid of the normal questions first,
Yes.
like why did you get into that?
Exactly.
How did you start? So I can then understand where can we actually grow, because like once I understand you, and I know that you're interested in this, I'm interested in this, we can just
Yeah.
explode that like out of proportion.
Absolutely.
Right?
I mean, think about it. We all love to be a fly on the wall on anyone's conversation.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point, to make it a conversation.
Yeah.
You know, like
That's
for the audience.
That's a good podcast name, Fly on the Wall.
Fly on the wall, yeah.
Pink Floyd
vibes.
Yeah.
You know, he had a podcast like when Corona just hit, and it was called Breaking Bread.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait.
Sounds
Why
familiar,
is
bro.
What? Yeah.
Does
I
it?
got goosebumps, but because I like the word bread for some reason. Like you don't understand. Like
His favorite food is bread.
no. I have an affectionate feeling for the word bread. I don't know why. Like I used to make a lot of puns with the word bread. Like I used to in every relationship I've been to. You know how you have nicknames for each other, like honey, whatever?
Yeah.
I call her my bread. Like my
Your
bun.
bread,
My
okay.
bun. And it's not like bunny, it's like bread. You're my loaf.
And you're her butter.
Like I loaf you.
Yeah.
That's how I would say
loaf
it.
you.
Yeah. I know, cringy, but at the same time.
Oh, that one hurt.
Dude, this totally makes sense. But let me tell you something. As you guys know, the most difficult thing is to be consistent.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're like, yeah, this is a cool idea.
Right, yeah.
But to actually put the time and effort into it to make it a real thing,
Oh, God.
you get busy with life, you
Turning
get
a
busy
thought
with
into
work.
action.
Yeah,
It's very-
exactly.
And consistency, bro. That's what
Exactly.
makes a lot of brands. That's what makes a lot of successful businesses. That's what makes a lot of people.
Yes.
If you're
Exactly.
consistent with hard work, if you're
Yes.
consistent with your service, if you're
Sure.
consistent with A to Z, then only then over time you can make it.
Absolutely.
But if not
Absolutely.
doing that, then
You know, I think
Just wasting your time,
I think
bro.
this is the biggest problem with everyone. It's consistency.
yeah.
It doesn't. It's
Yeah.
not about
That's a
whether your
sweeping
idea is
statement. This is
good.
the biggest problem of everyone. Hussein has solved
Consistency.
everyone's
Yes.
problem.
Yes. No.
Thank you, Sensei.
Because honestly, it's like the turtle and the hare, right? The air.
Yeah.
It's like you can go fast
Right.
and stop, or
Yeah.
you can just go step by step and take your
Does that
time.
mean you're not investing in Bitcoin?
I'm not investing in Bitcoin. But just because I don't know enough about
gotta buy
it.
the dip,
To
my
be honest,
dear.
I don't know enough about it.
Same. I don't know enough about it.
I don't
but-
know enough about it. I don't
But
invest in
I keep
things I don't
myself
know.
surrounded by people
Yeah.
who know enough
Yeah.
to notify me. You're like, okay, go buy it.
Here's
I
what
buy.
you don't know.
Yeah. I honestly, I just don't invest in things I don't know enough
Bitcoin?
about.
What about NFTs? You're going into NFTs?
No, I'm still not. Like,
I'm like testing the waters now.
But what have you done on NFTs?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
But
I've opened a web page.
But check this out. Some insight on what I'm about to do in the NFT world.
Drop.
Yeah.
Sister is an artist.
I'm
like,
about to
sis.
exploit her. All her talent and all her art.
I was like, sis, what are you doing?
makes sense.
that's
makes
exactly
sense.
what I'm
Makes
free
sense.
on your free time. Let's monetize it.
Let's
Where are you gonna
monetize
do
it
it?
right now.
Capitalism.
On
Makes sense.
OpenSea?
OpenSea. Yeah.
OpenSea, yeah.
OpenSea, bro.
The easiest
All the
one to
way.
use. Like, there's so many
Right,
so
but
hard to use.
the issue is, as far as I know, you can only use one cryptocurrency, which is Ethereum.
Ethereum, yeah.
Ethereum,
But
yeah.
Ethereum 2.0 is coming out, and a lot of people have like a global warming
coming
reason not to
out?
use it. Yeah, so Ethereum, and I forgive me if I say this wrong, anybody, but basically, you know how mining uses electricity and it's bad for the environment because there's like lots of reasons. It's
Right.
theoretical mining. So like, let's say your computer has the capacity to do X amount of mining in X amount of time.
Right.
Instead of actually mining, it just locks that ability from your computer, so you don't do it. But it's like you did it. So you don't use the electricity of it, but the act of being blocked for that period happens in the same way.
Can
It's
we-
green mining.
Can we use that same concept in human
Green
beings?
mining?
Like I want to do something without doing it. Can I do that?
Yeah.
I
what
want
it
to work
sounds
out
like to
without
me.
going to the gym.
Well, I mean, it's a whole thing, but in any event.
We don't want to go too technical.
But
here.
when you're doing your NFT on OpenSea, just make sure you put enough gas money, because if you don't hit the limit, then you've lost your money. Just a little tip.
Oh, we're definitely going to talk after this.
Because I think I just lost money.
No, I still didn't start, but that's like something I need to do now. Because now a lot of people understand OpenSea or NFT. Especially, what's his name? The artist that got like paid $1 billion. What's his name?
Wait,
Are you
which
talking about
art
the
thing?
There's a kid that got like 500K. That's
Besides the kid, there is an artist, a digital artist. He's very... Excuse me, I forgot his name. But he got paid a lot of money for his art on NFT. And the good thing about NFTs is that, check this out. So you put something and you say, this is 100 US dollars in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin stuff, it's 100 US dollars. You're going to sell it for 100 US dollars, right? And you can set a commission amount. So every time someone buys that, you get that commission.
By the way, guys,
So good
like
for,
just like
creators.
I rather we don't go to technical of NFTs.
All
But
right,
my
all right.
last word on
Right,
NFT
right.
is
Let's close it.
I believe in what they say is like the practical use of NFTs in the future. I do believe in that. I don't believe in this art stuff.
Right.
But like, for example, your passport
Yeah.
could be an NFT. So you just don't need to carry your passport around anymore.
Yeah.
Because you've got digital proof.
Right.
Like that is a practical use, which
not
in
all.
the future will
Lot
be
of
massive.
NFTs. But in any event, I take a point. So I read a really interesting article. I don't want to go too long on this, but I read a really interesting
Please
article.
do.
I've been
This is a
asking other
podcast.
people this question. Did you guys see the artist who got paid like 84,000 to commissioned by a gallery to make a piece of art? And then when the day came for the reveal, it was blank, and he called it "Take the Money and Run." And then the gallery sued him. He was like, "No, the piece was."
Take the money and run.
Art.
That's
Me
the art,
taking the
yeah.
money and giving you this is the art. And then the whole argument opened up about, is that art? But you know what? It really is art. And that's the conversation now. And there's a conversation, so it's art. So I was asking people, do you think it's art, or they should give the money back?
Yeah, art is perception.
We had an episode, just me and him talking about. There was this photographer who would take photos of people while they were on their phone, and so imagine you're on your phone, you're having like an intense text argument with your wife, and he would take like a really artistic photo of that, and you would see that clearly too, the conversation.
Oh, no.
And people are like, is this is it a breach of privacy when it's just a photo? It's just artistically displayed. Like the text is like, fuck you, right? For example, right? And this guy's really pissed and he's about to throw his phone, but you see the word there. And some guy took a photo, posted, like he has a whole series about this. Is it a breach of privacy, or is it just photography?
For me, I think it's fine. And the best example is the guy who just holds a sign, right, on Instagram. And you know, like every day he has a message when he holds a sign up.
Yeah.
I forgot his name, but yeah.
So
All right,
anyway,
back to you guys.
I want to know your views on this, because I'm collecting opinions. Should he give the money back? The artist. 84,000.
No.
Well,
No,
I mean,
no.
of course not. They
Was there
paid
anything
him.
did he sign anything that says you specifically have to put something on the fucking canvas?
I mean,
Sorry
technically,
for swearing.
it's there is something.
Yeah.
It's just not the something they're expecting, I guess.
Exactly.
yeah.
But
That's
it's
why I
still-
believed he's in the right. He's
But
like-
the fact that we're
So you're saying it is art?
No, the fact that we're talking about this right now in Bahrain on a random podcast
Right.
means they got the 84,000 bad.
Well, I think it's art.
They got the PR for it. You know what I mean?
The PR, it's actually art.
Yeah.
Again, the people are so used to certain mediums or certain ways of expressing art. So
Yeah.
anything out of that feels like, I don't know if it's art or
Well,
not.
the thing is-
and that is art in itself. You don't know. You're not supposed to
Exactly.
sometimes.
But let me tell you something, bro. Now, they want their money back, right? Because he did not deliver their expectations.
Yeah.
Did he promise expectations or he promised art,
Exactly.
right? Because if I say I'm going to deliver art and art is what I'm going to give you.
Yeah.
It's just what art is to you. It doesn't matter,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Right? But
Exactly.
if he say, oh, you want art,
A
right?
piece of art, like with like visuals
What
and stuff
you-
like that,
what
that's a different story.
Art is what you think
It's
art
perception.
is.
That's it.
It's perception.
That's it all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I think it's a very interesting time we're in where you can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Imagine that a few years back.
I'd love to do
Omer,
something like that.
let's not hijack their podcast.
Sorry, my bad.
Oh, no, that's
Back
not a
to you.
hijack.
Let's go back to OpenSea.
Okay,
Okay.
What? Let's run away, bro.
Let's run away from OpenSea. It's a closed sea.
Wait for the punchline. So you two have been 12 years in deep waters.
Yeah. Okay,
Like that?
I see what you did there.
I want to know how you guys met and like what since you guys are in a podcast. You guys have a podcast together. What was the stamp that's like, okay, let's do this together, and why each other specifically?
Yeah.
Like you could have done your own.
I'll
You-
let Omer answer that one.
yeah, you could have picked anyone. Doesn't like I'm sure you guys have other friends, right? But why
Yeah.
each other? Why this podcast? And like, but
And
first,
why now?
why now?
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
questions.
what's the
Okay,
trajectory?
so Hussein and I met when I first came over to, when I came over to Bahrain, I think the second time, 12 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
I started a project which was before its time. I made a magazine, a digital magazine about what to do in Bahrain. And I researched everything, wrote the thing myself. It was amazing. And then we had our lovely problems in the country, which helped close that down rapidly.
Is it okay if you share the name of that digital magazine?
Yeah, it was My Secret Bahrain,
Oh,
It was a website.
the website which Hussein built for me, which is how we met.
right.
So he made the website, I wrote the whole thing, paid him to the project. He did a wonderful job. But then I populated it, and then the country just shut down for a long period of time, which kind of just killed that business.
It was just way too advanced for its time.
I had
It's not like local BH now. There was no social media in
yeah,
those
but
days.
wasn't
Get
there an
Facebook.
idea to kickstart it again, to change it up?
I think a lot of things, I think we all felt that period in different ways. And whilst I'm not from here, I did have some serious impact from the same thing. So I moved on to other things after that. I always wanted to go back to it, but Local's doing a wonderful job now, and age has taught me to collaborate with people rather than compete.
Exactly.
But since when he stopped doing that, right? So then obviously he wanted to move on to the next thing. We worked together under H2M in my marketing agency, and then Omer became the partner for London. So we had to toss it up. Like
Hold on.
someone's got to go to London.
1 second. H2M is your agency?
Was.
Oh,
yes.
was?
I mean, it's called H2M because it's Hussein Husseini Media.
Get out of here. Really?
Yeah.
Because everyone calls me H2 in Australia, you know?
Oh.
So that, but then like we had a couple of jobs in London.
Right.
One of us had to go there. I mean, at that time I was married with kids. So I was like, dude, you're from the UK. It makes sense.
Yeah.
You go to London.
Right.
And then Omer grew the business in London as a partner over there.
Yeah, we did. It was really. We had some amazing jobs there. It was really good. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so the podcast, how did that came to be?
So we've been doing them on and off for
Sporadically.
Yeah, and the same was the whole thing. He was talking about consistency.
Yeah.
It was always and I'm sure you guys will share this view as well. When you're starting something, we've all still got to pay our bills. We've all still got to be alive as humans, and that's not free.
Yeah.
So it's always been a challenge to do something consistently whilst being a business owner and grow your own company and all of the joys and rewards that come with that. But this time around, on this one, we said, look, every time we just haven't given it the space to let it grow into something more. So this time we just really want to be much more focused and treat it like it's our own business, a client of ours.
Exactly, because if you treat it as a hobby, like individually, I'll do one today, then I'll do one after 3 months, like really random. But if someone's there, like a gym partner, to spot you, you know what I mean, to hold you accountable,
Right.
that yes, every Tuesday we must release.
Okay, but why now did you start taking this serious?
Well, because I was always into it, but then I realized without a co-host, it just feels too much like an interview.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
So I've been looking for a co-host. And then I was like, well, who's the best person except Omar, unless he doesn't have the time?
Right.
And that was the question,
So and how did you decide? Like, what was the deciding factor?
I mean, he just asked me. And he said he's going to take it seriously.
Like, I said, but if you're not going to take it seriously, we're not going to do it.
Yeah, so it was the commitment that he was saying he wanted to put into it. And I was like, okay, this feels different from the previous ones. We're like, we'll just learn how to do it, give it a crack, see what happens. And this time it had that overarching difference in narrative behind it. So I was like, yeah, I'm totally in. It's always been a fun thing to do. It doesn't feel like work, which is probably one of the biggest guiding factors in my life. Like, do what you love.
Yeah.
Although, having said that, it is work,
yes.
right? Yeah. And it's not the conversation.
Yeah. It's everything else.
The editing.
It's everything else.
The thumbnails, the SEO, the sponsored posts.
Exactly.
People don't realize how much is involved after this conversation to what happens before the actual podcast is published.
Right.
It's like a headache seeping in.
Yeah. And I'm the one who has to take all the headache here.
I mean, you asked me for my notes on the last one, and I responded an hour later, and you're like, I've already done it. I'm like, I've responded. Was it an hour or maybe a day later? I took a day to
It is what it is, all right?
Yeah. But in the end of the day, it is hard work. It is a lot of,
you should know better than anyone.
Yeah. A lot of, having a podcast, people don't see what you don't post.
Exactly.
Right? They don't see what you trash. They don't see all the bad episodes.
Exactly.
You just show them what you want to show them.
Dude, when I had a podcast with him, after that episode, I was like, man, did I say too much? And I was like, Ali, please send me the podcast, as people do.
Yeah.
And I understand the headache because it's like he's already edited it. And now if I ask for a change, that's like a whole new edit to the edit, and it takes hours.
Yeah, because even in agencies, I mean, you both would understand, revisions are chargeable unless you have an agreement for 2 revisions.
There is something coming out soon that's going to make all of our lives dramatically easier. Do you guys see the
Are we all becoming billionaires, or what's happening?
Well, maybe. But Adobe has an AI editing suite, which is ridiculously good. Like, if you've got multiple cameras and it pulls up the speech and you choose where you want the focus on which person, and then it just auto edits according to camera angles, according to who's talking. It's crazy good.
Are you saying my editor job life / whatever is
so what it does is, like that basic stuff that's just really time consuming. So then you get to do the value add.
All right, guys. So if you're still listening to this, we have to come back to the 2 answers at the end.
Right.
So, Ali Kelz, you gave us 2 scenarios.
Yeah.
Was it...
No, we got a guess. What's your guess?
Yeah, no, but before that, just to remind, it's
R.
Kelly versus Call of Duty.
COD, bro.
COD. Okay. Sorry, I'm too old for that.
Black Ops, to be exact.
Black Ops. All right. So Omar, what do you think is the right answer to this question?
I'm going to go with COD.
Beautiful. And you?
He's already told the truth. Then I have to go with COD. I was going to go with R. Kelly, but the way you said beautiful, I can read body language.
So do we have a final answer?
Well, he already told the answer.
I didn't say yes.
That was COD.
COD?
But I would have... Okay, listen, you know what? I'm going with R. Kelly, although I know it's going to be COD because of his...
You can't say that. Like, both of them.
Okay, beautiful. I'm going with R. Kelly.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
R. Kelly!
Boom! You know what? I think I'm not that good with body language.
Or I'm really good at hiding
things. That makes sense. All right.
No, I'm not.
I cringed inside.
So that's
would have been cooler.
That's why it's called Ali Kelz,
Right.
because of R. Kelly.
Dude,
All right.
yeah.
Dude.
Get this, very quick. Growing up, I used to be very close friends. We were best friends growing up. He's a rapper these days called Abdallah Confate.
Okay. I don't know him.
He's more famous in TikTok and Instagram. So we kind of were, building our personality at that time. He's like, we need nicknames. And I'm like, what's going to be my nickname? He was like, R. Kelly, man. You listen to R. Kelly all the time.
You know what? I always
not aged well.
I
That's not aged well.
I always had a nickname,
Right.
but I will not reveal it on this show. So you can catch it. So you can catch the second part of the show some other day.
Beautiful. So there's a part 2.
There's a part 2 in your studio.
Please do.
So the Hustle Kitchen podcast will come to the underground experience.
Okay, so now we've got the one to win the 50 dinars.
The 50 dinars. Corvan. Oh my God.
My real name.
I will not remember this. That's why I need to know this answer. What is his real name?
What's your real name, bro?
My real name is
Spell it.
Imran. IMRAN. Not
Imran.
Imran.
Yeah. That is so much easier to remember than Corvan.
Corvan, I don't know how you're having such difficulties.
I don't know. For me, it's difficult. Maybe my English isn't.
I've
that
had an
good.
old lady call me Corvette because it was easier, and I'm like, sure.
And I'm saying
sure, ma'am.
these days they'll call you COVID. You know, like. So anyway, guys, thanks for catching this show. We'll see you on part 2.
It's good to be here.